Welcome back to part two. So you're lying down on your belly, on your front, arms relaxed by your sides, your right cheek on the floor, and just take a couple of breaths here, just slowing everything down. We've been through a fast vinyasa, so I'm hoping that you kept up. And if you can't, don't worry. There's no competition or pressure in yoga. And then bringing your hands out in front of you, so they're above your head. And this time I'm going to do a Superman. So lifting up the arms. So if you've got lower back issues, squeeze your glutes. So lifting up your arms and lifting up your legs off the floor. Take an inhale. And then exhale, dropping the legs, dropping the arms, switching your cheek to the other side, just to give your neck a little bit of a stretch on the other side. And then round two, you're going to lift up, inhale, lifting up the arms, lifting up the legs, engaging those thighs. Imagine the thighs pulling away from the hip sockets. Inhale. And slowly exhale the legs, the arms back down onto the mat. Those of you that know the locust, we're going to come into the locust, or you can stay with Superman. If you've got any lower back issues, I would suggest staying with Superman. But locust is basically where you're going to grab your feet with your arms. So lifting up your toes, bending at the knees, and grabbing your feet, and then pulling your chest out and pulling up your chest. On an inhale, peeling your chest and the top of your body up and out of the mat. Inhale, lifting the thighs off the mat as well. And exhale, releasing the legs slowly. And then window wipe the feet from side to side, really slowly. And we're going to come up again into your locust. So grabbing the feet. Remember to really pull on those thigh muscles. Inhale, lifting the chest, opening out the chest, lifting the thighs off the mat, pushing the pelvic bone, the pelvis to the floor. So your pubic bone is really pushing on the floor as well. Inhale and slowly exhale, releasing the arms, the feet, and you're resting your cheek onto the side of the mat and just giving the hips a little wiggle from side to side. Hopefully this is calming, brings some stillness to the body, and then lifting up your chest, coming to the top of the mat, and coming just to a seated, cross-legged seated position on the mat. And we're going to start some slower postures just to finish off with some yin. And so to start with, we're going to come into cow face pose. This is quite strong on the hips, so be careful with your hips and don't overstretch. So you're pulling your right foot around and underneath. So your left knee comes out in front of you. Just actually to first of all, if your hips are too high, you can actually sit on something. So to ground your hips through the floor, I recommend sitting just on a little towel or a little pillow, just to lift your hips so that your knees aren't too high. If your knees are coming up, then you need to sit on something. And then we're going to wrap the right leg around. So again, if you can't go too far, don't worry. Just go as far as you can. Ground those sit bones down through the floor. So you're really pulling down your right hip to the floor. Cow face pose. Believe it or not, these are the cow's lips. Lifting your right hand, and if you want a strap, If you can't reach your hands together, then I recommend you using a strap. But basically you're going to right hand at the top and the left hand underneath and clasping the hands together. So you're opening up the shoulders here, keeping length in the back, and take a couple of breaths here. And stay here and breathe into those tight hips. Try and find an inner smile. And again, in yin, we're not fidgeting around, very slow movements. It's really finding stillness in those postures. So you can connect with the deeper tissues, deeper muscle. Inhale, exhale, stay connected with the breath. Soften in the face, soften in the jaw. Stretches out the ankles, the thighs, and the hips. Inhale, exhale. Imagine that piece of string pulling out of the crown of your head as well. Inhale, exhale, and then releasing the arms slowly. Just give them a little bit of movement and slowly releasing that right leg. Slowly releasing the left. And just give them a little bit of a wiggle. The knees and the feet. Circle the feet, circle the wrists one way and the other. And yep, you guessed it, we're going on to the other side. So your right foot underneath the right hip, bringing the knee to a central position, opening out that thigh, opening out the quad, and then placing the left foot around. And again, it doesn't matter even if you're here. The point is to really ground those sit bones and really feel the pull in those glutes. Well, bring the feet and the knees together and then lifting up the left side, dropping the hand, pulling the right hand, and you might find that you can do one side with the hands and the other side is a little bit more challenging. This is the inflexibility of one side versus the other. Inhale, use a strap if it's difficult, don't overstretch the shoulders. Inhale and exhale, keeping length in the back. Feel the breath down through the belly. Find a smooth rhythm with the breath, breathing into any tightness. And then slowly releasing the arms, giving the arms a little bit of movement. And then slowly releasing the legs. Tighten the hips, reaching up the legs in front of you. And coming off your block or your towel cushion. And then just gently fold the body forward. Doesn't matter how far you can go, just releasing the back, curling in the back. Take a breath here. And then lifting the chest, lifting the arms. We're coming into pigeon now, so bring your knees up, so you're just in a tabletop position. And then lifting the right knee to the right elbow, or by the wrist, down on the floor, and the right foot out to the side. And then switch the left leg straight down the back. And then flatten out the foot. Align the hips out, straight out in front of you. We're just going to take a couple of breaths in the classic pigeon, so sitting up tall. And then we're going to try king pigeon today. Don't worry if you can't go too far. Take a couple of breaths here. Again, if you find that you're sitting for long periods of time in the day, your hips might be slightly tighter. So king pigeon is lifting up the back foot, grabbing it with the left. And again, you can use a strap if you want to use a strap. So that you can, and then lifting up the chest, lifting out. Pulling the foot back. It gives a really strong pull on the thigh here. Inhale, keeping the hips level. Exhale. We're going to stay here just for a couple of breaths. Inhale and exhale, releasing the foot and then coming down into resting pigeon. So bringing the hands, bringing the head to the floor, and we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Releasing the belly and releasing into any tightness in the hips, keeping the hips square. Take 5 deep breaths in resting pigeon. Slowly lifting your head off the mat. Slowly lifting the chest off the mat and rolling over onto that right hip. So you're releasing the leg. Releasing the legs out in front of you, just to give them a little bit of a shake. And just stay here for a breath. And then on the left side, so coming onto all fours, and the left knee up to the left wrist, bringing the left foot round. Again, it doesn't really matter how far your left foot goes up, it just depends on the flexibility of your hips. The main thing is keeping your hips square. So you might want to place something underneath your hips here, so that you've got a little bit more support on the left hip. right leg out, and then opening out. Pigeon is a heart opener, so what we're doing here is we're balancing out the heart chakra. So bringing energy to that heart center. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then if you want to try Kim Pigeon, you can grab a strap, or you can just grab the foot straight away. And bringing the foot out, standing up nice and tall. Just watch the lower back. If it's compressed, then just pay attention to what your lower back is doing. It's really strong on the thigh, opening out the thighs, the hip flexors. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, keeping that chest open. Inhale, and then releasing the strap, releasing the foot, and coming down to resting pigeon. Lowering the forehead to the floor. Finding the heart center. And breathing into the tightness of your hips. This is also cleansing for your internal organs, flushing out any toxins located around the hips and around the kidneys as well. Inhale, exhale, 5 breaths here. Slowly starting to lift your head off the mat, lifting up the chest and rolling over onto that left hip. So you're really gentle on the hip, rolling the feet out in front of you. And just come to a tabletop, so placing the feet on the floor, hip width apart. Placing the hands behind you, making sure the elbows are bent, so don't lock out the elbows. And then lifting the hips up super gently. Finding some space in the belly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And dropping the hips. Exhale. And then lying on your back. Releasing the back, releasing the spine. Just stay here. Drop the knees in together and feet out to the side. This really gives, in actual fact, you can actually use this in Shavasana if you want to, because it releases any lower back pressure. Inhale and exhale. Breathing down through the belly and tucking the tailbone under. And just gently feel a pull on your lower back. Inhale, exhale. Releasing the tailbone, releasing the glutes, and then releasing out your legs out in front of you. If you want to put something warm on for Shavasana, please put something warm on, socks or a cardigan or a jumper. If you want to put a cushion under your head for a little bit of softness, then you can find Find a cushion, that's nice. Just to lie down on your back for Shavasana. Finding some relaxation in this difficult time that everyone's going through. Finding some calmness for yourself, some space for yourself. And just releasing the hands out, facing the palms to the ceiling so that you're relaxing the shoulders and dropping the feet out to the side. So your body's almost in a star shape position. So you can really releasing the hips, to ground the hips down through the floor. Wiggle the hips from side to side gently, and then move the neck and the head from side to side. And in Shavasana, releasing any tension that you have, releasing the feet, relaxing the legs, relaxing the hips, finding stillness, finding that you're supported from the ground, and letting go of any tension, letting go of the control of the breath, releasing the back, releasing your chest and your shoulders to the floor, surrendering, releasing the arms, the hands and the neck, releasing the head, and soften the face, relaxing the jaw, and just find some relaxation. Closing your eyes and imagine your body from all sides, as if you were looking at yourself from above. Feel yourself being pulled into that inner ocean of peace and quiet as the ripples on the surface start to subside. The outside world can be so busy, but inside we can find peace and tranquility. Keep your breath soft and your mind will follow. Feel yourself moving deeper still towards your inner core, as if you were porous and you were being absorbed into yourself. As you find yourself closer to your bliss center, see the brightness there and let the brightness shine out like a lighthouse through darkness. The mind starts to wander, bring it back to the lighthouse. Letting go of any distractions. Keep the mind focused on being here, being in the present, and letting go. And start to bring your awareness back to the breath, breathing in deeply. Again, up through the chest, out through the crown of the head, and slowly with control, exhale, finding a little bit more stillness and relaxation. Take a couple of rounds of deep breathing. Start to feel the physical movements. Just gently wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and then gently roll onto your right side in a calm, relaxed state. Pause on your right side and then slowly come to find a comfortable sitting position. Bring your hands to your heart center. Bring your hands to your third eye.